5 on the old event. Okay. Wonderful. Time to do the stream announcements. My stream announcements. Almost posted on the wrong server. All right. Let's do some form checks. If you're ready, I'm ready. Last time I did them was on the 27th, so I guess this is a weekly thing. Is that the way it works? Did I do this one? This is MLBG. I don't think I did this one on the 27th. What's up, Hugo? This is MLBG. I recognize this form. I want to say maybe I've just done them a form check in the past. Anyways, a slightly big X step, leaning backwards a little bit. Timing looks okay. I like that you're over your toes, but you should be tilted a little bit more. Like your heels are off the ground, but you should tilt a little bit more over your toes as you're throwing, because your reach back is high, and then as you're throwing, your release is low, and that's what's causing that little bit of air skip there. As you're pulling the disc here, see how your shoulder is shrugging? That tells me that you're tensing up, and you're going really, you're trying to muscle, and that's why your arm isn't as loose or as fast as it should be. Your shoulder should be down, and you should be almost pushing your elbow out in front of you so that your arm can swing more freely and use the power that's generated in the throw to just swing your arm a little bit faster as you're throwing. Well, that's not the right button at all. There we go. But yeah, the nose up is coming from the high to low pull. I would tilt a little bit more over your toes, and then make sure to try and push your elbow out, and really create that power pocket. Rather than having your hand on the front of the disc, your hand should get to the outside of the disc, like the other side of the disc from your body. After the form checks, I should do some GeoGuessr. If I have time, we'll see. All right, this next one is cyanide and KST. One of those is poison. I don't know what the other one is. Okay, anyways. T-pad is really slick, and this actually probably applies to the last one too. When you don't have good footing, it's really hard to have proper weight shift, because a proper weight shift is all about like shifting your weight into your heel, and if your heel doesn't have traction, that's kind of useless. You're just going to slip and slide. So it's really hard to have proper footwork and weight shift on a snowy T-pad. Given that it's a snowy T-pad, that's not bad at all. Your last step is pretty small, and you don't really follow through. You see how you don't really follow through, but that is probably because of the snowy T-pad. Most of the time, you'll see people follow through with their whole body, where they spin all the way around. So I don't know if that's actually a thing that you should work on in your form, or if that's just by virtue of the T-pad. I do like your left foot being on a toe. That's good. Are you jumping as you X step? A little bit, but not too much. I think that's okay. What's up, Kimberly? Also, what's up, Chloe and Philip? You guys said hi. I didn't say hi. I feel bad. Okay, I like the reach back. For the most part, it might be a little bit high, but not too bad. That's good. I like that it's wide away from you. That's really good. Look at this power pocket here. Hand on the outside of the disc, elbow up. That looks really good. Is this release point really low for some reason? No, it doesn't look too low, but it kind of looks like the disc is air bouncing a little bit. It's hard to say if that's because of the snow, because it looks like you need to tilt a little bit more over your toes rather than just bend at your waist, but like I don't know that. I can't tell if your shoulder is really shrugged up or not. It doesn't look like it. Right here is really good, but it looks like the release is a little bit low, and that's going to cause that nose up. So maybe rather than releasing the disc in front of you, try to release the disc more off to the left, so like almost out in front of you, and that should let you leverage the disc a little bit better and let you keep the disc nose down. Because if you release low, what that happens is you end up having to air skip the shot. But if you can release up here, then you can throw the disc nose down. but that only works if you reach back lower, which you're reaching back fine, it looks like it. And then the disc is coming into the power pocket really well, and then it's just releasing down rather than pushing out and away. What's up, Ryan? Welcome on in. I'm doing well. I hope you are as well. I was going to do these in reverse chronological order, but I didn't. I already started. This is LD. Decent hyzer to do with the headwind, slightly downhill. Okay, this is less downhill than some of the other ones she sent in, though. It's interesting, she's not even X-stepping, not even crossing her feet. You don't really have to. If you watch like Miles Seaborn or Devin Owens throw, they don't cross their feet. And it's actually helping because she's able to see how much more vertical her spine is. That's really good. This is a really good position to be in. I like that. Her foot's offset to the left, turned away from the target. That's a solid power pocket out to the release. That looks really good. How far is this? Does it say anywhere? I can't tell. Is the disc releasing out to the left or? Okay, it looks kind of like she's leaning backwards as she throws. Do you see how, like, am I seeing that? Is that right? I don't know. Oh, I need to do that. I need to unbox the package that Par 3 sent me. Oh, there's 2 throws. There's 3 throws. Okay. 3 throws in 6 seconds. Holy cow. Yeah, solid editing. Lots of people send 30-second videos and only get 1 throw in. So this is great. I like that power pocket. So your shoulder's at 90 degrees. And then, okay. So what's happening here is her shoulder's kind of opening up. I don't know if I should use, is it second person when you say you? LD, it looks like on the last throw in particular, your shoulder is opening up as you're throwing rather than staying locked. You get a lot of power from the rotation as you throw, right? So you're doing really good as far as posture and everything, but as you're throwing, you want to make sure that your shoulder stays, you can't really tell because I'm wearing a dark colored hoodie. Hang on, I'm gonna go take this off. Okay. You're doing really good to keep your shoulder locked through this part of the throw, but then as you go out there, your shoulder kind of opens, and that's not as strong. You want to try and rotate as you throw. Try and focus on getting a little bit more of a quick rotation, of a compact rotation as you're throwing to try and keep your shoulder at this 90 degrees. Basically, your arm is doing the right thing. You have to speed up your rotation to keep up with your arm, and that will help your arm to just leverage a little bit better and a little bit faster. Overall, it looks really good. I would try to find a little bit more power out of your weight shift. Just try slamming your heel down a little bit harder and adding that little bit of extra rotation. And I bet you'll add some power as you go. All right, this is Dude Logman coming in next. Yeah, what's up, Caribou? What's up, Voodoo? Good to see y'all. What could be some reasons a person would be turning the disc after the release? Like a disc flipping over? That could be wobble, if the disc is wobbling as you release it, and that's usually from a lack of rotation or from a low follow-through or something. So you want to make sure that your grip has a pinch point between like your thumb and your index finger where the disc can pivot out so that it kind of adds that little bit of extra rotation as the disc pivots, and then just make sure that your follow-through is on line with the shot you're throwing so the disc isn't wobbling. Chaser said, is DD making Holland Handley an offer? I have no idea who that is. I saw a... What does that sound? Oh, Tracer's playing in her little... She's got like a little box, I guess. It's made out, it's like a tent, but it's a box for cats, and she's just batting at the wall. Okay, it sounds weird. Also, yes, massive power. If you just throw it really, really hard, that'll cause it. That'll cause a disc to turn. Oh, and throwing Anheuser without really intending to sometimes. Huh. That could be a low follow through. If your follow through is just down, that a lot of times will just flip the disc on an Anheuser. Or a lot of times if your body is tilted over your toes and then all of a sudden you stand up, that can tilt the disc on an Anheuser too. Or coming through too high, like as you're pulling. Generally, the higher the pull, the more Anheuser. You should also be tilting it your way, so you shouldn't have to adjust this much. But if you pull too high, that can cause the disc to come across an Anheuser. Just like ripping it over. That happens. Okay. Dude Logman. Details are in the YouTube description. 6-7 months, max distance is around 250 to 260. Okay. Sure thing. Does that help? Does that sound like what might be happening? I don't know. Okay. I like the small X step. That's good. You generally don't want to jump though, because see how you just tilt backwards as you jump, and tilting away from the target tends to mess you up. The biggest thing here though is, well, I was going to say reach back, but it looks like you kind of, yeah, I'm going to say reach back because the disc right now is behind you. You never want to have the disc to where your body is in between the disc and the target. Because if the disc is on the other side of your body, that means that the disc has to come around to get to the release point, and that's going to cause you to round, which is basically where you pull the disc on a curved line rather than a straight line, and it messes up your release, and it means you don't get any power, lots of stuff like that. So rather than reaching over here, you want to reach wider, almost towards the back left corner of the T-pad, just the back corner away from you, so that the disc, if I was throwing at the basket from the camera, right here, the disc can go straight to the basket without having to go around. If you reach over here, then the disc has to come around you. So reach wider away from you, and then it also looks like you're shrugging your shoulder, but we'll see if you're doing that as you pull. Yeah, so here, see how the disc kind of has to swing around, and you release the disc in front of you, or with the disc, like, you release the disc like right here. Yeah, so as you're pulling here, your hand is on the front of the disc, and it's your whole arm swinging to throw, right? Your whole arm is doing this motion, which is really slow, right? If your whole arm is swinging, that's not very fast. What you want to do is leverage everything into your elbow, so it's just this lever that's moving. So where you're, boom, that's your throw, because that's a lot faster. That's going to get a lot better leverage on it. So the thing is to pull the disc into the power pocket. You want to have your elbow out in front of you, your hand on the outside of the disc rather than the front, and the disc almost up against your sternum, like right up against your chest. And that's called the power pocket. And once you find that, then the disc kind of explodes out of it and down the fairway. So yeah, reach out, because if you reach back like you are, you're not going to be able to get the disc in the power pocket. You want to reach out and then pull the disc into that power pocket, and bam, that's where all the power comes from. It doesn't actually make that sound though. Also, my hair is sticking up because I took off a hoodie, and also I need a haircut. Yeah, that's really frustrating, Kimberly. I've been there. I was gonna say I've seen other people struggle with that. No, I've struggled with that. Why so early? Man, that's just the way the scheduling is. Yeah, it is a really early stream. Usually I stream late. I don't. Scheduling, man. It's just when I have time. I have a lot of form checks and I want to take care of them. So take care of them makes it sound like I'm an Italian mafioso and I want to murder them. That's not at all what I want to do. I want to, I'm going to take care of them. That's what I'm going to do. That's not what I mean. I like the timing on this. That looks good. Nice small X step. He's good in balance. That's good. See, he's not leaning backwards. That's great. Looks like a solid reach back out away from him. His weight's over his toes on his back foot. Can't see his front foot, but you can see like his hip, how it's turned away from the target. That looks really good. By the way, this is Book 419. I like this position right here. I feel like this is setting him up to throw really, really hard. As he's throwing, into the power pocket. That looks okay. It looks like his shoulders, it looks like your shoulders opening up. It looks like you're pulling too much with your arm and not rotating enough. What's up, Jesse? Good to see you. As you're throwing, your arm, your shoulder should not open, right? If I reach back like this, right, and then pull the disc into the power pocket, and then go out to the release. If I don't rotate while I do that, I use this demonstration a lot because it blew my mind when Seabass22 told me. If I just don't move from like here down, this is what it looks like. Reach back, power pocket, release. Your shoulder doesn't open as you throw. Your shoulder should stay locked. That's why muscling is bad. Because if you're muscling, if you're smashing the disc, that opens up your shoulder. And that just ruins all the leverage. Because your shoulder is a lot stronger if you just keep it at this 90-degree angle and then rotate as you throw. It's a lot stronger that way. As soon as it starts to open, then it ruins everything. Plus, your elbow is farther out in front of you if your shoulder's locked. And the farther away from your center of rotation your elbow is, the faster it's moving. So, yeah, that's the... And you can kind of tell you're muscling because of the way you follow through. This might be because you're throwing into a net, but... Whoops. Yeah, it looks kind of... See how your arm kind of beats you to the follow-through? Yeah, it looks like your arm is leading your follow-through. Whereas if you watch like a picture of Paul Macbeth after he released the disc, there's a really good one of him, I think, out at wintertime, where like he's released the disc and his shoulder is still like this. And I'm not saying you should just follow through like this, because obviously your arm's going to move faster eventually, but like you want to try and keep your shoulder square. So to do that, try and keep your lower body rotating just a little bit faster, which just means don't pull with your arm. You can kind of, rather than pulling the disc out in front of you to release, try and offset your release to the left, because your arm extending happens a lot faster if it's out here rather than pulling it through out to here. Any tips to slow down upper body and rotate lower body faster? Lower body will rotate as a result of your weight shift. So if your feet are in the right spot and you're shifting off of your back foot, that will shift into your heel. That will cause the rotation. If your left arm is tight to your side, everything like that. And then beyond that, just focus on keeping your shoulder square and pushing the disc out to the left of the release point. That's why it's almost like some people will say good pull, and I'll say good pull because it kind of is a pull. You do have to pull the disc in, but then in some ways it's also a push. You go here, in, and then out to the left. So it's almost like you create like a wave, right? Or a curve that starts out and then swings in tight and then releases out to the left. That kind of goes whoop, kind of creates a swooping curve towards you. That can be like a faster way to extend your arm. Cyrus is Rising Am. He says, when you lose 2 discs in the snow, costs you 4 strokes on 2 good shots. Don't miss any putt, get 8 birdies, and still shoot well. That's pretty good, man. Oh, take a snowman and still shoot well. Jeez. That's pretty solid. Especially in the snow. The snow golf is so bad. The lawnmower pull analogy. Yes, I don't like it as far as teaching upper body because it means that you open your shoulder. But Seabass22 just put out a video that like the timing is kind of similar. But like I still dislike it as because it's usually like the first thing that people hear. I have a kitten, Chad. This is for my kitten. Her name is Tracer, after my favorite character in Overwatch. I'm really bad at playing Tracer, but my cat Tracer is really sweet. What's up, Eternal? Good to see you. If my tricep is able to contract at a pace that can be relevant compared to a full throw? Tricep extension. That's basically what it's doing, but it's not really... it's not really the muscle, your tricep, that's throwing. It's more like a trebuchet, right? Because a trebuchet like uses the motion and the leverage to all of a sudden whoosh, move really fast, and that's kind of what's happening. It's not really your tricep that's going, that's really throwing the disc. It's a result of all of the other motions that come in, and then your arm is just a lever. if I just had a board and a screw right here to where just my arm swung, I think it would still go really far. Well, okay, not really far because I threw it, but like if for most pros you didn't have a muscle here, you just had a hinge and a board, and then their hand was normal, it'd be really weird. It'd be like some sort of like space pirate thing, futuristic medicine. But I think that's the way it would work, right? You would still be able to throw pretty well because your arm is extending from the leverage and the motion and your rotation and centrifugal force and inertia and stuff like that. It's not really your muscle. Steampunk pirate disc golf. Exactly. I love it. I love it. Okay, next one. This is Dust. Dust, if you don't know, is Dustin Discs. He's actually a professional video game caster. I don't know if they like the term shoutcaster, but he's been doing disc golf stuff. It's pretty sick. He says 1859 is where I should go. He's got a disc golf channel. Okay, let's look. I like the weight shift there. That's a little bit better. He's been leaning back. Boy, it looks windy. Okay, it's a pretty good X step. Good reach back, tilted over his toes. This is for like a lot of hyzer. See how he's reaching back on that much hyzer and his spine is angled? That looks like a huge hyzer angle. Okay, so right here you can see his shoulder is collapsing. I keep talking in third person. Dust, your shoulder is collapsing. See how right here the first thing that your shoulder does is shrink, is get to like that acute angle. As soon as your shoulder does that, it's lost all the power that it's going to have. Your shoulder is strongest right here because it keeps your elbow far away from you. And if your center of rotation is your spine, your elbow should be pretty far away from that so that it's moving faster, because the farther away it is from the center of your rotation, the faster it'll rotate. But if your shoulder collapses, that brings your elbow real close, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you kind of lose a lot of that. So, and we've talked about this before. I don't really have another good drill. I've talked about a few of them. There is one. So basically, what you need to do is focus on pulling the disc into the middle of your chest, right here, because right now it's kind of back here, and that will keep your shoulder more square. That's what I tend to focus on when I'm struggling with this, is where on my chest I'm pulling the disc, because usually I aim for like the right side of my left pec, right, like right here, just because that's how long my arms are. If you watch like James Conrad throw, his arms are long as crap, so he's got his arms in this position. It's just the disc is over here. It's like it's at his like left armpit, but his arms are still in the right position. That's what works for me. Another thing you can do is called the lunchbox drill, and it's where you put a lunchbox in your arm right here. This is a book, not a lunchbox. You are not mistaken, because I don't own a lunchbox. I am a 25-year-old man, and I don't have a lunchbox. But I guess some men do have lunchboxes, but I don't. Anyways, if you put it here, that prevents your shoulder from being able to collapse. So it focuses you, it forces you to keep your shoulder at that angle, and that prevents you from rounding. Thanks for the clarification on book versus lunchbox. I got you. If you need books identified compared to lunchboxes, I got you. Like 98% accuracy though, because sometimes I bet you there's like a book club who has like a lunchbox that's shaped like a book, in which case, who knows? Who knows? Ezra has a good video on it. Yeah, he calls it the hitbox. Yeah, it's inertia. It's not terminal velocity. It's not gravitational force. It might be No, it's not hyperbolic. But that's a big word. That is a lot of stuff. But yeah, what happens is, like, as you pull the disc in, you end up bringing all of the weight in. You compress it all down. So just like a figure skater, your what's the word? Is it moment of inertia? It has to be the same. So you end up rotating faster as you pull everything in. So you take advantage of that fast rotation and the leverage to swing the disc out. I don't own a lunchbox. I'm sorry. I don't. I generally just make like a brown bag thing. I have a small cooler. This is Jay McMorris. He's got a YouTube channel as well. He throws freaking far. Jay might be here. I don't remember. But yeah, he hammers a disc for sure. I think we have the same shoes. It's pretty sick. He's been working on slowing down because he's been moving really, really fast as he throws, and he's still moving pretty fast, but like, it's a lot slower than it used to be. That's for sure. Let's look at the second shot. Yeah, this is a clean throw for sure. A little bit of a lean back here. But by the time he's got his reach back, it's okay. And see, reach back is a little bit high. You can kind of tell on the other angle. See, look at his shoulder, though. His shoulder stays at the same angle the whole time as the disc releases. That's really good. And is driving that rotation, a really clean brace. But see how... Okay, here this reach back is lower, though. See how the reach back is like down here, or like lower chest height? That's where it should be. And then on the second shot, it's much higher. Yeah, because you don't really want to be stepping down into your, like down like that into your brace. You want to try and keep everything on a level field. Because if you add any up and down motion, that just takes force and it moves it in a direction that's not down the fairway. It takes your inertia, your momentum from your... I guess momentum is probably a better word. I don't know physics stuff. I'm a dropout. But yeah. I really like how the disc comes into the power pocket here and then releases. See how it's releasing like out in front of him? As if it were in line with him, it would be like over here. Yeah, I would recommend reaching back lower. It's a good shot. And it looks like he's moving slower than last time. I don't have a lot more to suggest for you as far as gaining distance. Does he say how far this was? I know he throws pretty far. But like at some point, you're beyond my help, dude. I help a lot of people throw farther than me. But like at some point, I don't know. All right, this is Weeberry. Basically how he ended his first season. You want to start competing this year? Figured you use my help getting off to a better start. Nice. Video is 3 clips, 100% speed, 33% speed, and assignment comparison. All right. I really only need 1 clip. I'll probably just look at the first one because YouTube has frame by frame built in if you press the period and the comma button. Frame by frame, so I'll just do that. I like the balance. Staying vertical the whole time is really good. A little bit of a big X step here. You don't really need to turn that far away from the target. Here, so your last step here is turning towards the target. You actually want to turn your front foot away from the target. That will that'll turn your hips back because right now your hips have rotated forwards for you to take that step, and that kind of takes all of the potential out of them. If your hips are forward, you end up with your toes farther apart than your heels. And if you just stand there like that, your hips can't rotate. You don't have any momentum or any range of motion. And it forces your weight over your heels, does a lot of bad things. If you keep your weight over your toes and you turn your front foot away from the target and like plant it on the ball of your foot, that rotates your hips back. And then as you throw, your weight shifts into your heel. You get that nice rotation on your heel. That's when you get a lot better brace. Also, your shoulders, possibly because of your leg, your shoulders aren't turned all the way away from the target, so it's kind of starting the disc at this closed-off angle. So ideally, your disc is reaching a fine direction. You just need to rotate your shoulders a little bit more to get it started at that nice 90-degree angle. Because, yeah, as you're throwing here, the disc is behind you. It's kind of in your armpit, and also your arm isn't tight to your side. You want to start with your arm wherever, and then as you're throwing, tuck it down. I like to move my hand on the inside of my left leg, because that kind of compresses your shoulder. It makes sure your arm stays tight to your side, and then as you rotate, it's going to help you rotate a little bit faster. But yeah, the reason that you're taking such a big step at the end of the T-pad is because you're not really stopping your forward motion. The idea of a brace is to shift your weight to your heel and use that lateral motion to drive the rotation in your throw. So, yeah, if you're using that force to drive your throw, you won't have much left over. Most people will take a small step, but if you don't absorb any of it, then you get what you have here with a really big step where you have to catch yourself after the throw. So yeah, I would focus on turning your front foot away from the target, and that might fix the shoulder thing. And then from there, try to keep your shoulder locked and pull the disc in towards the middle of your chest. Don't let it leak over to that left side or that left armpit. I see where Rising Amp asked when he can make more thumbnails. I don't know. I have an idea. I want to do a what's the word? A form breakdown of like Calvin Heimberg. I think that would be great. But I don't have a lot of energy. And also, I want to do one on a case for reach backs, because I saw another YouTube video this week, that was like, you don't have to reach back. And then he demonstrated a reach back. And I was like, okay, he wasn't wrong in what he was saying, and he was helping people, which is fantastic. So I applaud that guy. He was right. He's doing great. But a little bit clickbaity saying you don't have to reach back. Yeah. I got 2 more form checks, and then I'm going to open the package from Voodoo, from Par 3 Disc Golf. This is Eli Bear. Yeah, he's actually a righty. It's just all flipped. So he's normal. I like this a lot slower. That's good. Turning away from the target. You don't really want to turn around as you X-step. Try and stay sideways a little bit more. But your front foot is a little bit too far offset to the left too. If your feet are lined up like you're going to throw a huge anhyzer, but the disc is on like a hyzer. So ideally, you would have your front foot a little bit more in front of you. I do like, you're not really rotating as much as I would like. Your left arm isn't tight, or okay, it is your left arm. Yeah, it is your left arm. Your off arm isn't tight to your side, and that's slowing you down a little bit. So basically, you're pulling the disc in front of you. It looks like you're not throwing it super hard. That's good. The change that I would make is rather than taking like this kind of a step as you reach back, try to keep your momentum a little bit more, but set your foot down sooner. So you end up with your weight more over your toe on your back foot, and then your front foot should be just a little bit offset. I'll do it away from the camera here so you can see. Right? Your front foot should not be super far offset. You'll generally see that for like rollers or shots like where you're way back here, but for most shots, your front foot can be mostly your heel is right off your toe. That's like a baseline, and then kind of evaluate it from there. So, that's just mainly the difference here, because you'll get more power out of your back leg. Because right now you're not able to push off your toe as much. There's another shot. Okay, I'll look. Yeah, left arm is tighter there for sure. But yeah, I like that your shoulder is down too. You see a lot of people who throw with their shoulder shrugged up. That's good that your shoulder is down. So that tells me you're not muscling. You're definitely using the leverage that you're generating, which is good. But it just looks like you need to put your front foot a little bit more in line. And then, yeah, I think that'll help with your lower body rotating. And then, I know I said to slow down. I think it's probably just because, okay, your steps here. This is what I'm trying to say. All right. Your steps, the pacing of your steps is right, left, right. You see how that's evenly spaced? Right, left, right. You want to take your first 2 steps, your X step should be faster. So it should be right, left, right. Because if you take the same amount of time for each step, that's when your X step gets too big. You want to go right, left, so your X step stays nice and small, and then right as you're taking your last step. Did I really say normal for right-handed people? I mean, technically, it's like 90% of the population, but it's not everyone. I feel bad. I roast lefties a lot. And then I had somebody at GBO one year. There was a little kid who was like scared to come up and talk to me because he was a lefty. And I felt so bad. I felt so bad. This like 8-year-old kid was like hesitant to come up and say hi. And so I'm normal sad. Lefty cheaters. I played a course today. I played a new course out on the ESU, Emporia State campus, that had a lot of Anheisers. All right, this is Chloe. I like the timing. That's good. How is that course? It's short and there's gaps. Okay, we talked about X step a bit. You want to try and keep yourself moving more sideways at the target. It's helpful to think of walking sideways towards the target rather than turning around and then turning forwards, because if you're walking sideways, that's more like it's almost like you're riding a skateboard towards the target as far as the mentality of like moving laterally. Your feet are doing all kinds of stuff. I turned Australian there for a second. But your feet are doing all sorts of different things, but you should be mentally moving laterally towards the target. Because with your foot like this, with your foot on your heel on the ground and there, see how you kind of just fall off of your back leg into your brace? That means that your leg has basically used all the energy that it has. And it's just inertia that's carrying you into your throw. Whereas if your weight is over your toe and your step is a little bit, your last step is shorter, that means that you can actively be pushing. You can be driving off of your back leg into the throw. And that's going to help a lot with adding a little bit more of that force into your rotation. I like the timing here. Your reach back peaks right as your front foot touches the ground. If you didn't have quite as big of a step, it would be a little bit easier to rotate properly. Look at that, bringing the disc right into the power pocket. That's really good. Out to the release. That looks really solid. I like the brace too. With such a big step, it's hard to brace properly, but that looks really good. Yeah, that's really solid. Geez, how far is this? 435 according to UDisc? I believe that. Left arm's tight to her side. And look at how high her follow through is. See how it's up and over her right shoulder? That's really good. What a smash. So from like here forward, I guess like here forward, it's really good, but you can get a little bit more power out of your back leg if you stand up a little bit straighter. Yeah, not lifting or scrunching shoulder up. That's really good. Yeah. It's a better power pocket than I have. I always muscle a stupid thing. Stop it. Your left leg should be your posture at the beginning of the throw. Sorry, microphone's really far away. Your posture at the beginning of the throw should be a little bit more similar to how you want to be as you brace. You want to try and keep everything on the same height, the same level, because right now you're starting kind of low and then coming up and falling into your brace, and that just adds a lot of wibbly wobbly to it. You want to try and stay a little bit more upright, and then if you plant like this here rather than at the width of a step that you are right now, then your back leg is actively driving the rotation, and that helps a lot. I'm exaggerating a little bit because I'm not actually throwing. It's not usually quite this small, but that will help a lot, because if you're just falling off of your back leg into your brace, obviously you're still bracing really well, but you'll get more power out of your back leg. But again, smash, that's really good. All right. I think that's all the form checks I have. I do have a package from Par 3 Disc Golf I need to go grab. Par 3 Disc Golf is Voodoo in the chat. He's opening a disc golf shop up in Washington, right? And Caribou and Mark. He's sponsoring a couple of homies from the stream, so go check it out. What discs, what brands do you have on your shop right now? I guess I can go find it out. I'm gonna open this package first. Oh, my cat is very interested. I'm gonna put away the sharp knife first. Hello. You need to inspect this? You want to sniff? What's in there? Is that good? Oh my. Intense. She had to go to the vet today for a nail trim because yesterday she was playing with the trash bag, and I said, if you stop it, and I told her to stop, and I said, if you keep doing that, I'm going to take you to the vet tomorrow. And she kept doing it, so I made an appointment with the vet. Anyways, what's in here? The first thing, oh, sick. A beanie with a Par 3 DG logo. It fits around my massive ego, so that's good. Everybody knows I have a big ego. That's what everybody says on Facebook. And then this shirt here. Oh, sick. Nice. A nice dry fit here. Par 3 Disc Golf logo. Par3discgolf.com in the back. It looks like it fits. It looks like my size. Why can't I trim her nails? Because I am scared I will do it wrong. And I'm scared I would trim a part that she can feel. So yeah, apparently they have everything. Par3discgolf.com. Yeah, that looks like everything. So, thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Voodoo, for sending me care package. I appreciate it. I'm cold all the time, so I'll get good value out of the beanie. I appreciate it. I might get them to heat press a DD logo on here as well so I can wear it in tournaments. Sick. Thank you very much. Also, go check out Par 3 Disc Golf. Sorry, I only play par 4s, so I can't use your website. Who's the best disc golfer on DeGam? Hands down, Robert. Or not Robert. Robert's gone. Hands down, Emac. Emac is really good at frisbees. Emac is so good. Yeah, Robert. When Robert was higher rated, I don't think that he was necessarily better than Emac, but he just grinded out the tournaments to get there. Right? I think he just put the work in to do it. If Emac did that, he could 100% get to 1,000 rated again. He just plays like 2 events a year. So he's not there right now. But I think Emac is a better player. I think Emac, Robert, me, Anthony, Bobby. And me, Anthony, and Bobby are pretty set, right? Like, I'm a decent amount better than Anthony, and Anthony is miles better than Bobby. Nothing against Bobby, just Bobby hardly ever plays. Oh, wait, take care, Voodoo. Good luck with your stream. Enjoy. Emac has a video. That was you? That was so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We watched that like 20 times on loop. Oh my god. Okay, this was a video of in Alaska. This was I'm trying to remember the name of the course. It was the super fancy course that Emac did up in Alaska, and there's a dock, Meyer Lake. That's it, Meyer Lake. And there's a tee pad that's on a dock, like out in the middle of apparently Meyer Lake, and the shot goes like up the hill into some trees, and apparently Chad is like lining up the shot. Like, he set his bag down, he's got his disc, and like he's looking up this way, okay? And he's just like, yeah, okay, I see what I'm gonna, and he just walks straight off the back of the dock into the water. It's so funny. It's like something out of a sitcom. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know where to find it online. I don't know if he posted it. I don't know what. We died laughing. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. Cuz it's so relatable. Like we've all done something like that. I've tripped over a bench. It just so happened that you did it on a dock. I don't mean to roast you for it cuz it's completely understandable. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. It looks like a fantastic course too. It looks really cool. We played the new course on ESU. It's a little 9-hole course. It's pretty short, right? Nothing is too long. I want to say the longest hole is like 250 maybe. But it actually has some gaps, which is rare for Emporia. There's like something that lightly resembles a tunnel shot. Granted, it's only like 160 feet, but it lightly resembles a tunnel shot. And yeah, there's a few different shot shapes. It's cool to have to shape shots because that's what I loved about disc golf in Arkansas, and there's not really much of that in Emporia. Is it worth you playing while you're here? I mean, if you got 20 minutes, grab 3 discs and run through it. Why not? It doesn't take long at all. It's shorter than Hammond, but it's about the same difficulty because of all the gaps and stuff. How is that for a non-answer? Oh, I don't think I have links on, Chad. You can message it to me if you're in Discord. Sure thing, Callie. I assume Cal? Callie. Cal. Cal? Callie. Widberg. I almost said Widberg. Nickname for Carl. Cal? We're going to go with Cal. Didn't know speedrunning disc golf courses was so important as to get through a hole every 2 minutes. I mean, if you have 3 discs and you walk on the hole 1, you go fwing and you start walking. Sure, I want to get it right. Calle is how it's said in Spanish. Is street. How to pronounce Cal? It's with a K. Oh, it's with Sweden. It means free man. Oh, kale. Kale. Oh, like kale LaVisca. And like the vegetable for healthy people. Not really? No. Dang it. Okay. Kale has 1 L. I'm aware. Pronunciation. You guys can't hear. I'm going to unmute it.
Kalle.
Kalle? What? Oh, I just scrolled down too far.
Kalle.
Kalle? Kalle. Okay, gotcha. Like Superman. Kalle. Okay. Gosh. I gotta look out for my Swedish homies. Cause like, technically my family is Swedish. You can tell because I'm very white. Yeah, it's also faster, definitely, when you don't spend 20 minutes looking for discs off the fairway. Hello, Kitty. How are you? She's probably mad at me for taking her to the vet still. So Cyrus is going to play Cottonwood Falls, Clover Cliff, Opie, The Farm. Okay. Cottonwood Falls is fantastic. Clover Cliff is the only wooded course nearby. It's pretty good. Opie is fantastic. I really like Opie. The Farm is like an hour and 45 minutes away. The farm is very far away from Emporia. It's the other side of okay, yeah, it's a good course if you're going there. But yeah, it's just a ways away. You have a whole week before Monkey Island. You can have time to play the little ESU course. It's just a little pitch and putt. It's nothing special. A video guide to being a TD. That's a good idea. Cover from sanctioning in the manager site to submitting the final paperwork. You mean like the details in the back end on the website? If you guys don't know about being a TD, there's like an Excel spreadsheet that, like, I guarantee you a nerd made it. And I mean that in the most endearing way, because I'm a nerd too. Like, a nerd made this spreadsheet because it has like colors that like change, and you plug in a number somewhere and it goes bang, bang, and changes things elsewhere. It's crazy. It's so complicated. And like, you have to go through, put how many people in, put how much fees were here and this stuff and then that, and then it all calculates everything, and you have to send a check to the PDGA for like sanctioning fees, and then all the fees for like people who weren't PDGA members that played and stuff like that, and then it's just it's a lot. I don't know if they've changed it since last time I saw. Doug Trantham, a local TD in Arkansas, showed me and my brother one time how to do it, and it was just overwhelming. The main thing stopping you from being a TD of a sanctioned event is there's no sandbox for the manager site, and the only way to see it is to sanction an event. Oh, it's a website now. Sick. So you just have to do it. Ew. I mean, I don't do it because I don't have time. I'm busy. I have a lot going on. Do you think speed of disc of a disc release is good judgment of distance? Yes, for the most part. The only reason it wouldn't would be nose angle. Yeah, provided a disc is nose down. Yes, but also most radar guns don't measure as soon as a disc releases from the hand. They measure like the first, couple of feet, I would assume, of the disc's flight, which means that the nose angle has had some effect. So technically the same form, one nose up and one nose down. The nose up throw is going to be slower. But yeah, for the most part, yeah. Because nose angle will slow it down. Definitely. Linearly proportional. I'm going to take your word for that. Does that mean like as one goes up, the other one goes up? 55 miles per hour for almost anyone would be the same distance. 55 is a pretty decent toss, but it's slow enough that you could throw 55 nose up, and it would go noticeably slower than someone throwing 55 nose down. Last time I threw discs at the warehouse, I took this Raider, which is like my straightest flying distance driver, which is like meh, but like it is generally, I throw it on hyzer, it flips up, works right, and then comes back left, right? It's a kind of a workhorse distance driver for me, okay? I took this and I threw it from a standstill as though I was throwing an upshot, but I made sure to turn my wrist, get the nose down, and pop it low and flat, as though I were throwing it on a distance driver line. And it, like, with barely any effort, it went like 280. So for distance, nose angle, if you're throwing nose up, you are 100% leaving a lot of distance on the table. Just free distance, and you're just leaving it there. You also have to account for spin, disc selection, and nose angle. In general, the more powerful throw is going to spin more, because as the disc pivots out of the hand, the faster it does that, the more it's going to spin. And most pros you'll see if they're holding onto the disc like around to like 3:30, 4 o'clock, if the disc were a clock face, right? They're holding onto the disc back here. And so the disc is pivoting out of their hand. Most pros, I would say the disc spins roughly the same amount of time. Disc selection, yeah, as far as the line. I'm assuming they're throwing on the same line. But yeah. Should you be actively trying to add pop and spin? I think spin comes from grip mostly. I wouldn't try and curl your wrist, because if you curl your wrist, then you lose your grip strength. I would try and keep your wrist flat so you can grip it, and that's where the pivot the pivot and the spin comes from. Caribou says something about content on my personal channel. I want to do more. It's just time. I guess I do this instead because I really like doing form checks. And I've been playing games. So I don't have an excuse. I should just make more videos, but like it's been a minute. A faster opening of the wrist. No, you don't really want to move your wrist that much at all. It is going to open a little bit, but if you want more spin, focus on getting your hand on the outside and then holding onto the disc as late as possible as you release. If you hold onto the disc as late as possible, then that's where the spin comes from. What is pop? I have no idea. How can you throw nose up without throwing it up, or rather without it traveling up after you throw it? So nose angle, this is actually technically a physics term. We say nose angle. What we're referring to is the angle of attack. Hang on, I got to put on my nerd glasses for this one. All right, so the angle of attack is the angle that a disc is on relative to the direction that it's flying. So if a disc is like this, it has a positive angle of attack. And if a disc is like this, it has a negative angle of attack. And that's just relative to whatever direction it's going. It doesn't matter whether it's going up, down, left, right, whatever angle it's on. It's just where the disc is tilted relative to the direction that it's flying. Technically, discs are the most aerodynamic at like -2 degrees of an angle of attack. I think that's right. I think this is positive, this is negative. At like -2 degrees. So tilted slightly down relative to the direction that it's flying. But as soon as a disc has a positive angle of attack, as soon as it's tilted back, then a lot of the air is flying and hitting the back. And this is just like a brake. This is just like an air brake. It'd be like taping a ring of I don't know, dominoes, gluing them to the top of your disc, and it's just slowing everything down. The way to throw nose up and still throw down the fairway, that's why I always teach against a high reach back. Because if you reach back high and release low, you're effectively throwing the disc at the ground and then air skipping it, and it flies down the fairway kind of like this. It might actually be flat, but your force has already gone down. Your force hasn't matched the direction that the disc is flying. And that causes, nose down and nose up switch to the middle of this explanation. Nose down is a negative angle of attack. Nose up is a positive angle of attack. Is that right? What's up, Dust? I saw your video. I did a form check on it earlier, and yeah, how's the disc golf channel been going, dude? That's sick to see you're putting out more content. That's great. Anyways, yeah. What was the question? How do you throw it nose up without it traveling nose up after you throw it? Yeah, it's just throw it down, and then the disc kind of flies like this, and you can see it. You can see a lot of times that you can see the top of the disc as it's flying after somebody throws it nose up. It's bad. But most putters need to be a little bit nose up. Right? Most putters need to be tilted back a little bit. Otherwise, if you try to throw them like this, they don't generate enough lift and they just plump. Nose up is when the nose is angled up relative to the trajectory. Yes. So this is not inherently nose up, because if a disc is going this way, then it's nose down. But if a disc is flying this way, then it's nose up. Or if it's flying this way, then you messed up. You're hacking and you're banned. How is that? Do I throw Emacs, or am I still too cool for them and throw BioVerdicts instead? I don't know. I don't know what discs I throw anymore. It's all meaningless. Why do I even try? I'm gonna suck anyway. Let me show you what's the Raiders. I have 5 Raiders. This one is exceedingly flippy. This one is moderately flippy. This one is moderately stable. And then these two are both fairly overstable, but this one's slightly more. This one's new. Yeah. I realized, I talked about this earlier, I have like no natural talent with disc golf. And it sucks. I haven't seen your first attempt at casting disc golf. I'm assuming you posted in the media channel, right? Ah, that link doesn't work for me, Chad. Sorry. Oh, you're keeping it private. Did you message it to me? You just want feedback. Okay. All right, I've got a little bit more time. How about we look at various disc golf technique videos on YouTube? Okay. First attempt at disc golf commentary. Wait, should I not show it on stream then? I can watch it off stream if you want. Okay, the video that I was thinking of is this one. Off stream, got you. No problem. The disc golf reach back explained, and he says there is no reach back right here. What did Caribou say? It's taken 2+ years to sniff 300 feet. Yeah, it takes... I mean... I could throw, like, 350 at, like, 9 months in, and then from there on, it was a very, very slow progression. And horribly inaccurate. I'm a terrible putter. I'm not good at hitting gaps. Forehand was completely unnatural to me. There's a, like, yeah. It's frustrating being stuck. Let's listen to what this guy has to say. But I'm not going to be mean to him because he's trying really hard. It's a quality video, and he's helping people. So that's fantastic.
Welcome back to another Overthrow Disc Golf video. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we are going to be demystifying the reach back. Let's get it.
Demystifying the reach back?
It's not, ironically, a reach back. The reason we started calling it a reach back is because when people stepped up to throw, they used to do this, and they used to bring the disc back behind.
Did they? I guess, yeah. I guess they did. Old school.
They have to go around their body before releasing the disc, right? And so obvious rounding, right? Going around the body.
Yeah.
So they said, no. Look, you don't reach back like that. What you do is you actually reach straight back. The issue with this is that now people literally reach straight back. And if their disc was here and their body was here and the target was here, now when they go to pull through, they're actually still going around their body a little bit. So then people were like, no. You don't reach straight back. It's more of reaching out, right? And this was great because if you reach out instead of back behind you, when you go to pull into the power pocket and then go to where your release point is, it's one straight line. So solving the rounding issue. Amazing, right? Well, yes, to solve the rounding issue, but unfortunately, this created an entirely different problem altogether. The issue is that when you tell someone reach back or reach out, it makes them think that they have to actively push their arm back, which leads us to the final point of what the reach back is not. The reach back is not actually an active movement with the arm. In other words, there is no reach back.
This is where I disagree with him, because what he goes on to say, I guess I'll let it launch. Backswing is a better term. Backswing is a better term.
Instead of reaching back, you might have heard the phrase moving around the disc. Now this is correct. What you see with the pros is that there's a point in their walk-up where the disc actually stays in place and they sort of move past it. And when the disc stays in place, it causes the extension of the arm that we call the reach back. And it looks like they're reaching back, but in reality, their hand's just staying in place. This begs the question, where in the world do I leave my disc so that I can move past it? And when does it get there? Now, after
Is it
many
good
hours
volume?
of studying the slow motion footage, asking questions, and experimenting, we found the answer. Almost all the pros leave their disc over the outside of their back leg. For a right-handed backhander, that would be on the outside of their left leg. And it's got to get here by the time the back leg touches the ground in your X step. Let me show you. So your walk up, first couple steps, right leg goes down, left leg goes down, and when it touches, the disc is already in place, right? And then the front leg goes forward, and as it goes forward, you get into this extension, right? And then from here, all you have to do is pull through. So it's important to note that before the left leg goes down, there is some variety among the pros. So
Okay, so he goes on to I really like the overhead shot. I think that's really cool, and he's mostly right. The problem is, if you like you're talking about Simon, that's actually a good point. So what Simon does is he keeps the disc in tight, and then as he steps, he extends the disc. And I don't think this is the cause of his elbow issues, right? I can sit here and I can do this 100 times and my elbow's fine. That's as fast as he's going, right? His elbow issues come from throwing the disc a freaking million miles an hour, right? Like, he kind of steps in and then peaks his reach back really fast. That's not going to cause any issues, I don't think. I'm not a doctor, I don't know. But yeah, most people do kind of keep the disc about right there. The problem is, if you have my general problem with the idea of leaving the disc in place and walking around it is it's easy to walk in the wrong spot. Right? Like if you have the disc here and you leave it there too early, right? And then you take your step and then you do your X step and all of a sudden the disc is way back here and it's not in the right spot. Or if you're trying to throw this way and you have the disc here and then you take your step and then you walk in front of it, all of a sudden you're throwing the wrong direction just because you happen to step the wrong way. Or you might step over here and it's too wide or stuff like that. And the timing of everything is really tricky. So that's why I teach that your arm should offset your leg. As you come out of the X step, your arm and your leg should move in opposite directions. And that helps you stay balanced and that accounts for the quick reach back. Plus, if you have really long friggin' arms and you got dangly like spaghetti noodles here, your reach back, your backswing is going to move the disc farther. It's not going to be over your foot anymore. Or if you have short arms, it's not going to get all the way there. And that's kind of the issue that I have. So I think actively like extending the disc behind you is too much. Yes, but you should naturally rotate your shoulders and just straighten your arm. As you take your last step, your shoulders should rotate. You should just naturally extend your arm as you go. And that's the correct way to do it. That'll have the natural timing. It's not active, it's not too fast, but that is a backswing. That is proper backswing as you do it. So I don't like the idea too. This guy's 100% right. He throws farther than I do. I can tell just from the slow motion thing. Right? Like he throws farther than I do. And he's a good teacher. He's good on camera. He's good explaining. He needs to turn down his music, but that's fine. So I'm not going to try and disagree with this guy. He's right. But the idea of teaching that this thing is a lie, I think is hurtful. I think teaching against someone else is a bad idea. I have just given examples of why I don't teach what this guy teaches. That does not make me right. Right? That's what I think. I'm a college dropout. Right? If listening to what he says works for you, fantastic. I'm happy for you. I'm happy to help with your form too. Right? Like, that doesn't make me wrong and him right. And it doesn't, and if you reach back the way he tells you to and it doesn't work for you, that doesn't make him wrong, because it genuinely helps a lot of people. That's the thing about disc golf, is it's such a complicated motion. It's hard to teach, because what literally happens is very rarely what feels like it's happening. And so so things that create the right feel are not always literally what happens. So I generally teach literally what happens, because that's what I can see, that's what I can tell, that's what I understand the best. But if you're somebody who has to get the feel of something and you're trying to generate, like, what is it supposed to feel like? What am I supposed to be trying to do? I'm probably not necessarily the right person. Someone like Seabass 22, Loop Ghost, something like that, that's great for them, because they're going to give you a drill, and if you do the drill, then you'll get the feel for what it's supposed to feel like, and then you'll go through a disc, and it's like, wow, it's amazing. But personally, when I do drills, I have a really hard time translating the feel of the drill to the feel of throwing a disc. So that's why, for me, I focus more on what literally needs to happen, and filming and just repeating and filming and looking and filming and watching until I've got it figured out, until I've got it right. So I'm not going to say he's not wrong, obviously. That's not what I'm trying to say. He's right. But yeah, that's the I don't know. That's my shtick. That's my thing. That's my soapbox. Lynchburg. That's in Virginia, right? Let's see if he does another over the top or overhead slow motion.
Kind of pump forward with this right.
I think those are sick. I wish we could do more of those. That's good. He's got the timestamps in there. It looks like it's from a drone, right? The overhead? Yeah. That's definitely from a drone. Yeah, it's a little bit in front of him, so it's not quite right. Yeah, he's got a really solid throw for sure. Yeah, that's really good. Alan, yeah, type exclamation point Discord in chat, or you can check the description here, and there's a link. And that will take you to it. That'll take you to Discord. You can upload a video to YouTube, drop a link there, and I will take a look. Great looking reach back, that's for sure. Backswing, I guess. I don't know. This is Chad walking backwards off a dock. I don't have sound on. I gotta turn sound on. Hang on. I'll put my headphones in. Oh my gosh. It's such a relatable moment too. Like, we've all stumbled into something walking backwards looking at a hole. It just so happened at the edge of a dock.
10:30 p.m. This is double.
Oh my god! She just said that.
Oh my goodness! Somebody said that.
The man who wears orange. We are in Alaska, and it is 10:30 p.m.
Wow.
This is double.
Oh my god! She just said that.
Somebody's gonna back up too far and fall off as he goes. Oh my goodness. That is so relatable. That is so relatable. I love that. That's so funny. That is so funny. We do have a drone. Todd, we do have a drone. Or TJ. We generally use it for like whole flyovers and following discs. I haven't really done it for form stuff. I guess because it shoots in 30 FPS, but I might be able to look into it and see if it does other stuff. I don't remember. I don't remember which one. It's a Phantom. It's an unfolding one. How does that help? It's a DJI. It unfolds. It might be the Phantom 4. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't used it for form stuff. I crashed it a whole bunch once. We had to get a new one. Yeah, it shoots in 4K, and I think it's 30, so I bet you we could do 1080 60. We should do that next time we have the pros in town, which was last week. So, yeah, it's a bit of an L on my part. At one point, I did a camera way up on like a monopod that I held above Emac as he threw. Oh, no, it's a Mavic. Yeah. It's not a Phantom. You have a very bad video on your channel from 2 years ago. It's bad not only because you suck, but the tips are just not good. Do you unlist it even though it has 1,000 views? I unlisted a video that was wrong. I unlisted my old disc golf physics video. So I think that's fine. Yeah, it's the foldable one. I should do that. Because you can really tell on overhead. You can see like the curve as it swings in tight and out away. It starts out, swings in, and then releases out. You can really see that. What are other technique stuff? We're talking about Seppo. Seppo has a reach back too. He turns his shoulders and he straightens his arm a little bit. He doesn't straighten it all the way. That's the difference. He's here, everyone else is here. But still, his shoulders are turned away from the target and the disc is not, he goes from here out to there. So like, yeah, that's fine. I would argue he still has a backswing. Because if you don't have a backswing, that means you just start with a disc right here, and then you walk sideways, and then you just throw it, which is not going to go anywhere. I guess if you just did that and focused on spinning as fast as possible, then you're Bradley Williams, and that's a whole nother thing. Did I film any casual practice rounds with the pros while they were in town? No, it was very cold. Very, very cold the whole time. We did film a duel, and it didn't go well. One random pro doesn't do a thing that everybody else does, or sort of doesn't do a thing that everybody else does, so you obviously don't need to do the thing. No, not Bradley Williams, Bradley Walker. Bradley Williams he's got a couple technique videos out there, doesn't he? Should we look at more disc golf technique videos and talk about what they teach? I already did my rant about how, like, let's look at this. Disc golf tips. Let's see what pops up on YouTube for that. Moltz disc golf tips. Disc golf coaches pops up a lot. They have a lot of people. Yeah, Bradley Williams has really clean form. This guy sucks. Who are they teaching? Oh, is it Hunter and Trevor teaching? Oh dear. Oh dear. I think I've looked at some Robbie C videos, right? Philo has like, he's got the style that teaches how it's supposed to feel, which is good. But it's not how I teach. Let's watch a foundation video, and then depending on if I can finish it,
What is good, Foundation Nation, and welcome to episode 2 of the Beginner's Guide to Disc Golf.
Trevor's on Team DD now.
Backhand form. Let's get into it. Trevor is kind of an example of when I'm teaching through the form, kind of what to do, how to line your body up and stuff like that.
Uh-oh.
But the first thing
Is this not good?
all about disc selection. I'll put a card right up here. Form, learning how to throw, all of that go a lot smoother.
Okay, I'll
Have
turn up
nice
some.
neutral flying discs or slightly understable discs.
I don't care about discs.
If you have the right disc, an episode of putter is grip, and I'm gonna show you a power grip with the advantages to each. Better for
Okay, talking about
three
grip.
fingers out. Some people
Grip is so different.
whereas, and then your thumb to the rim, like the pad, is, and try it out. So your target and your
Okay, actually, here they're
this way,
teaching.
you're gonna want your front foot to be perpendicular to your target, and yeah, just kind of like how Trevor has it, perpendicular to your target, and your
Mostly?
back foot is the more important one here. Your back foot you want a little bit staggered, so Trevor will bring it a little wider than shoulder width apart. That's important because it allows you to get that weight transfer. It's really gonna get some power onto the disc.
That's important because it shifts your weight into your heel rather than your toe. Your weight's shifting regardless. Okay.
Second thing is you want it staggered. So Trevor's toe kind of goes into this middle part of his front foot. So
I would
that
stagger
allows
him a little
to
bit
be
more,
able
but that's
to
fine.
Transfer his weight and rotate his hips backward easily. If he had his feet not staggered, straight on, and he went to reach back, it's a lot less natural to rotate your hips, and you're gonna be missing some of that rotation, which is going to end up taking power and snap off of your disc, which snap is basically referring to that noise you'll hear pros when it rips off their hand. That is because of the spin that
Do we need to talk about snap? Do we need to talk about snap? Snap is nothing. I don't know what snap is. To this day, I've been playing disc golf for 7 years, and I've been sucking up all the disc golf information that I can. And I have no idea what snap is. Some people will say that it's the sound as a disc leaves your hand. In some cases, that just means you're gripping the disc too hard. The only indication of that is how hard you're gripping the disc. If you're gripping the disc really, really hard, it doesn't matter how you throw it. It's going to go as it releases from your hand. Some people will say snap is like how the inertia or whatever builds up throughout your body as you throw. Okay, some people will say snap is like as your wrist extends as you go out to the release point. Okay, apparently, according to Stokely, it's making your fingers bleed when you release. Okay. Snap is nothing. Snap is an amorphous blob to me. I have no idea. So far, they're not wrong, though. You do not offset your feet. As far as what they're telling you to do, it's fine. It's just why that's not correct right now, as far as what I can tell. But what to do is right.
was generated from the feet upwards.
That's
that
right.
allows the disc to rip off and have so much spin that the disc can fly the way it truly is supposed to.
Okay, so what Scott is talking about when he says you want to feel the blood in your fingers is that some people, he's talking about the idea of your hand going from the outside of the disc around to the outside, around to the back as you throw, and that sort of you want to be flinging your hand is basically what you fling your hand as you throw the disc, as the disc pivots out of it, right? Because when you throw from the front, then it's a really slow motion and you don't get that really fast, quick release right at the very end. So that's what he's talking about. He's talking about delaying that application of power as late as possible so that your whole hand and the disc pivots as he goes. And it just comes from centrifugal force, from inertia as your hand changes directions. The easier way to say it is centrifugal force as your hand swings around. But, yeah, so that's why he's saying that. As far as actually bleeding, that's, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, please don't. If something hurts, stop and go see a doctor. Or, yeah, go see a doctor. I'm not going to because I'll just take ibuprofen and tough it out. But, you know. Okay, let's see those foundations.
That all starts here at your feet. So make sure you have your feet right before you do anything else. Another thing I want to mention while we're talking about footwork is you will not see me teaching an X step in this video.
Okay.
The reasoning behind that
Scott is very good, and he's a good teacher too. He teaches different than I do, but I 100% respect him as a teacher.
Beginners-
He's helped a lot more people than I have. That's for sure.
need to learn this part, the standstill of their form, first before you ever even worry about going into an X step.
What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about standstill versus X step? I don't think an X step's that hard. I start with teaching, I guess, not teaching, but if learning the rhythm of an X step, if you get that right, a lot other parts of your throw just fall into place. Throwing from a standstill is a bit trickier, I think, as far as it lets you learn a lot worse habits. Granted, you don't have to worry about the X step at that point, but it lends itself to more bad habits. I've hosted a clinic before, Chaser. I've hosted 2, I think. I have to throw, not have to, but I mostly throw with an X step. I very rarely stand still. Yeah, the X step, if you get the X step right, the rest of your throw falls into place pretty well. This was I taught a clinic in southern St. Louis on my way to like 2017. It's Eureka Lake, Ledgestone. Yeah, it was a very small clinic. And then I taught one at Idlewild. Well, I didn't teach one. I was just there for questions. What's up, Noah? Good to see you. Scott, like I talked about earlier, I talk about literally what happens. Scott can teach you how to feel what happens. So yeah, he's much better in one-on-one lessons, and he's fantastic, obviously fantastic at forehand. He throws a different style to forehand than a lot of the guys on tour throw. He throws a different style of forehand. Most of the guys on tour who throw like really good forehands come from a baseball background, so they throw it like a baseball. But Scott throws it differently, which isn't to say that it's actually that different as far as mechanically what happens. But I don't know, depending on your background, the baseball version might be better or Scott's version might be better. I don't know enough about forehand to tell you exactly what's, yeah. You don't like his round, does he do like this number for a reach back? Yeah, there's a lot of different forehand reach backs. I usually just go like to here. Right, like just here. Yeah, one step is good, Michael. One step is really good. Starting with your feet together and just taking a step and throwing. If I were to teach someone starting from scratch, I would start with just having them hands behind their back and just doing an X step. Right, left, right. Right, left, right. And just walking sideways, just doing the X step. Right, left, right. Right, left, right. And then I give them a disc. And then while doing that footwork, see how it goes. That's what I would do. But also, I haven't taught anyone from scratch for a long time. Oh my gosh, did you guys see that Yuli's actually doing the thing? You guys see Yuli's doing the thing where like he takes a recreational player and like coaches them as they try to improve? Scratch to scratch, that's what it is, yeah. I don't think that's going to go well at all, personally. Because people have asked me, like, am I going to do that at some point? Like, no. Because it takes a lot of work on the part of the scratch player, right? The player that he's teaching. It takes so much more work. You can know what to do, and it's very, very hard to apply that. You have to work. So you have to do a lot of field work, a lot of rounds of practice to change your muscle memory. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. And most players don't put that in. To be honest, I don't put that in. That's why I'm kind of bad at disc golf right now. But yeah, consistency doesn't come quickly, and it takes a lot of time. So I mean, best of luck. I think it'd be sick if he can actually do it. If he doesn't, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe it's easier. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's easier than I think it is. But that's why I haven't done it in the past, because I think it takes way too long. He paired with a newbie with a lot of intrinsic motion. Okay, motication is. I trust you that that's a word. All right. Motivation. Okay. That's good. How much field work and practice do you think are necessary to get good per week? It's hard to say, because it depends on what you're doing. If you just go to a field and throw all your discs, then go get them and throw again, but you're not like working on something, you're not filming yourself, you're not picking it apart, you're not doing anything like that, it's like it's going to take a lot longer, maybe. But if you film yourself and you pick it apart and you improve and you like change things and you focus on what you're doing, the problem with that is if you're always focusing on every little thing you have to do, it's like it's really hard to get that throw to feel natural. Right? And so you have to combine field work with playing around, or field work with just throwing and not thinking about it, so that your throw can feel natural. So it's really tricky. I think we have 2 more form checks here. Oh my gosh, we got 3. I do not have time tonight to take a look at them. I'm so sorry, Andres. But you said you're from Norway? I had a Norwegian friend teach me how to say something in Norwegian, but I don't know if I still remember it. I believe it was hi. Hvordan går det? I believe that's hi, how are you? Or something to that effect. And I hope that's consolation for not being able to look at your form right now. It is right. Awesome. Okay. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell, or notifications in Discord. I post there whenever I go live, or you'll get a notification here whenever I go live, because my schedule's kind of crazy right now. I have no idea when I'm going to stream again. So, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a long stream, hour and a half, but yeah, I will see you all next time. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully I'll have a video on my channel relatively quote unquote soon, which means like within the next 2 months. And yeah. All right. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Good to see everyone. And I'll see you next time.